Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Devin at Sinister Machine Works, and today we're going to talk about AI and AI in the machining world. You hear a lot of talk about AI. People use it all the time. You look up something and you're using one of the AI programs or apps for finding stuff, using Google or whatever. And then you hear people talk about AI taking jobs. And that's what I want to talk about. In the machining world, there's a lot of hands on stuff, and there's also a lot of computer stuff, especially if you're doing modeling, designing parts, and even programming CAM software or doing the CAM for running on CNC machines. And some of you might know, and others might not, that there are AI softwares out there for using like CAM for machining parts or programming to machine parts. And that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about today is the AI software. Is it going to take away jobs? Is it a tool to help you? Does it actually work? All of the stuff like that. And I figured the best way of doing it was to show you how the AI software works in our industry. Um, the only one I've used so far is Toolpath, and I can go over how that has worked for me and everything like that. I'm still a very new user on it, but I can give you some insight on how it actually works and if it's a benefit or a hindrance to people in our industry. Um, I figured the best way of doing it was to program a part, and there's millions and millions of parts out there, and I was trying to think of what would work as a good example as a part. Well, I decided to try to sign up for Xometry as a partner for machining. And to sign up for Xometry as a partner, you need to do a test part. And I figured, why not? Let's do the test part using Toolpath to program my part, and then we can see if it actually does a good job at programming the part. What are shortfalls? What are the benefits and everything like that. So I'll show you in Fusion 360 the part, and then I'll show you how to upload it into Toolpath and the next steps after that. So just stick around, and hopefully you guys will see something that might help you. So on Fusion here, you can see I have the part up, and um, we'll go through and look at it. It's just an odd shaped part. They do this just to make sure that you can do a somewhat difficult part. You'll see, some tighter corners in here, bigger corners. We got a slope, we got a radius. Under here, this hole and this hole is tapped, and then this is just a straight through hole with tight tolerance. It's plus or minus 1,000ths. This is quarter 20. Pretty pretty simple part for the most part. It's a lot of it's going to be in how well you can program the part, how well you can measure it to make sure you're in spec, and everything like that. For Toolpath, you have the add-in up here in your Fusion 360, and what you do is you put your part in, and then you send it to Toolpath. What I like to do, that seemed to be best practice for me at least, is to do my setups first. So I'll have two different setups, and I'll set my stock based on what I have or what I allowed for it, and then my tool library. So in your tool library, you bring it up, and there's a Toolpath manage library, and I have all my different tools in here. So what it's gonna do when it goes to program to part, it's gonna take from your library and figure out what you have for available tools and try to program it with that. So I have my library set up for the most part. You know, you might have to add a tool here or there, just like on any job. But I have my Op 1 and Op 2 setups done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to Toolpath. Click that. You can include your two setups if you want or not. You can just do the model or whatever, but I'm going to do both setups, and then you hit OK. Just going to go. Hey, I'm just going to jump in here in a moment. I was having a little bit of computer problems recording the part of the video I was just going to show you. And I also had problems with the Toolpath software. What happened was my account went from a paid account to just a standard account for some reason. So it wouldn't let me edit any of the tools that we needed to, and I was really struggling with it. I had talked to Paul at Toolpath about it, and he didn't know why it went that way. It had changed like that, but he fixed it right away. Got me going. But just like anything, stuff can happen. Stuff has problems. Software has problems. Machines have problems. Anything can have a problem. The point is just to show you guys that nothing's perfect, and I'm not trying to hide that. That was a perfect software or anything like that. So, that was just part of it. Like, I went to use the software and I had problems. The biggest thing is how they fix it. And obviously they fixed it right away for me. I was doing that at night, and right away, next morning when Paul got in, he fixed it right up. So, hats off to them for fixing it right away. But I just wanted to let you guys know that why I'm jumping from video to video like this, just because I had a problem, and this was a good spot to put this in to continue the video. So keep watching, and I'll be back right here into where I load it into Toolpath. And under Fusion, for some reason it doesn't show up my pop-up windows. I'll have to check my settings to see why it's not capturing the pop-up windows for like editing tool library and stuff like that. But for right now, I hope this will inform you guys. Keep watching. Thanks. Okay, we're going to send this to Toolpath, and in Fusion you have these three buttons when you add the Toolpath app to it. This one sends it to Toolpath, so we're going to do that. I include the setups because I preset them how I want to do it. So just hit OK. And it pops up in your browser. Right now it's going through generating toolpaths. So right there is done. It said all features are machinable. I'm going to go like this and add a vise. Just because I'm going to use the vise to hold it. Toolpath just added work holding like this. And you can, if you have a 4-inch vise, Saunders Machine Works vise, there's a lot of different options in there. You're going to keep adding more. I'm just going to use a Kurt 6-inch vise. So we can see the part nested in there. This is my stock that I selected. So it'll give you an idea on how that is. I'm going to regenerate it now since I have the work holding in there. Anytime you change anything in Toolpath, you'll have to regenerate. So if you change one tool, you just hit regenerate. Stuff like that. It's pretty basic. So still generating. What this is doing is using their AI software to just determine the best way to machine this. And if I didn't do the setups already, it would try to figure out what setup was best, for machining the part. Which, sometimes it works great. Sometimes you might want to set it up different depending on your stock, depending on what you have for vices or fixtures and stuff like that. So, it's just something to take into account. I knew what I wanted to do to begin with, so that's why I'm just doing it like this. Okay, there, it generated it. Under the setups tab, you got your setup 1 for your op 1, setup 2 for your op 2. Oh, got mad at me. There we go. So your 2 setups, and then you just go through, and it shows the countersinks, faces. There's a fillet on the back side, pocket, slanted face. Right here, you can select tapping or threading if you have a thread mill, because that hole and that hole get threaded. I'm not going to do it in here. I will manually do that when I'm back in Fusion, because what it wants to do on this part, it'll want to tap and drill a hole on op 2, but then you wouldn't be able to chamfer these holes here. And I don't know if there's a workaround where you can drill holes on op 1 and then op 2 you'll go through and do the thread. I haven't seen it yet, but it might be there. I'm just missing it. But it's a simple thing to add at the end in Fusion, so I'm just going to ignore the threading right now. Right here's my tools. Got a 3/16 drill. I'm actually going to undersize it and ream it. So what I'll do is I'll go through and select the right drill I want to use. I already got it set up in my library. Right here, it pulled it from just Toolpath library, just a drill, 3/16 drill. So I'm gonna go view details, and right here you can select another tool, and it will give me the option for my drill. Let's see here. Right here. That's my drill. I want to use my undersized one. So you select it and then you hit regenerate. Let's go back to Toolpath and regenerate. So right now what it's doing is it's going and asking for this other drill to drill through, just because I undersized drilled it with my number 14. Now it wants to come through and drill it to 3/16. I'm just going to let it be for right now and go in Fusion and change that to my reamer. Because right now, Toolpath doesn't really recognize reamer, or at least I couldn't figure it out. So I'm just going to do this for right now and change it later on. Strategy, here's the roughing. Is your first one. Face, pocket. Is grabbing my 3/4 inch YG. And then just stepping down on the slanted face, so it's a lot less for the ball end mill to contour. Face finishing with that 3/4. This is a 1/4 inch end mill. To finish out the pocket. There we're drilling it with number 7 for the 1/4 20. Finish the floor with number 5. To see what that is. 3/16. And then finish on the wall. And then here's the ball end mill finishing. And then ball end mill finishing on the back there. And then the chamfer the holes. So that's the operation 1 or setup 1. Op 2. Roughing with the 3/4. Facing with the 3/4. Drilling with the number 14. Drilling with 3/16. And then doing the walls and chamfer. So to export this to Fusion, you just hit copy the part key, and then we'll go back to Fusion. And then here's your option: import into current document or import into new document. If you import it into the current one, it'll keep your setup with your sock and your machine and everything like that. If you do a new document, it doesn't carry the machine and stuff over. So always try to do it in the current document. So you just click that, and it's going to go through and load this. It's going through and validating all the tool paths and generating it. This one I'll just have to go through and double check what it doesn't like, but It's probably something pretty minimal. But so far, that's how it is. There's your scallops for doing the face, the back, 2D contour in there, the face, inside the pocket. I'll probably change this to a different tool. 3/16 is kind of small. I'll try see if a quarter will work or a 3/8, 5/16, whatever. Drilling, adaptive, all that stuff. So I went through and changed the toolpath a little bit. Just so this one, it comes up and it says that it'll hit the stock. I don't believe it will, based on what the tool looks like, and that's I don't have the tool holder modeled in there, so I believe I'll be fine. I'll just single step it and watch, make sure it won't after the fact. But I wanted to go through and show you guys. So like the adaptive clearing, what I did is actually I had it go down past the whole model here, 50 thousandths below, just because I like to do all the side profiling and everything in one step. That way you don't have a blend line or a transition line part way through your part. It just looks a lot cleaner. So that way, when I go to Op 2, I can just flip it over, face it off, and do the bottom side. Also, they want the machine to do the break, the corner breaks. So I added a couple thou chamfer on all the corners. Just when it goes through and does the adaptive clearing and everything like that, it'll take all the edges off. So that's Op 1. Gone through, doing the holes and stuff like that. And then here's Op 2. Op 1's, that's what it looks like after Op 1. So Op 2. Just gonna go through and do all this. Actually, what I'm probably going to do is raise my adaptive clearing height to right at the top of the part, just so it will not come down and potentially rub on the side. That's why it's always good to do simulation, just to see what your tool is actually doing. Edit this right here. I'm just gonna set my height. Um, 20 thousandths above bottom. So now when I go and do the adaptive, it's just going to worry about the top here. And then it'll leave the stock. Go back and check it out again. So there it's doing adaptive, and there's the face operation. Drill one hole, come back and ream it. I changed the 3/16 drill to the reamer, and we're going to contour. So that actually will not need to be in there because I did a full contour on the other side. So I can actually remove that. That'll be just a waste of tooling, and I'll remove that one because I did that on the other side. There, did the chamfer, and I added a tap to it. And the last one is the bottom chamfer around the whole thing. So I'm going to get rid of this contour and this contour, as those are not needed anymore. We did those in Op 1. There. I think we're done programming now. So next we'll cut the stock and set it up in the machine. I'll take you along with that. Okay, I'm going to run this now. I'm going to jog through it kind of slow just to make sure everything's good. So I showed you some of the machining. I stepped it through really slow just to make sure I wouldn't blow a $100 end mill or something like that by crashing it into the device. But I got it machined and stuff. Did it take me more than one time? It did. Did I blow a tap apart in a hole? I did. Yep. When you're using a roll tap, make sure you grab the right size pre-drill for it so it goes right instead of just exploding. I did it in 3 times. The first one turned out pretty decent. I didn't like the step over here, so I changed that in the second one, and then the chamfer and stuff. I did that. Blew the tap apart in the second one because I went from cut tap to roll tap, and I didn't change out my drill. But the third one turned out good. I sent that in. I actually sent it in about a month ago. I asked them if it passed or not, and Xometry said, "Oh, it takes time to check it out, I guess." So who knows what that means, a month or 2 or 6, whatever. But it's there. I think it'll pass. Measured out good. I don't have a profilometer, so I didn't measure, or I couldn't measure the radius, surface finish, and stuff like that. I believe it's smooth enough for their spec. The sides all turned out nice. It's all within spec what I could measure. So I think it's good. Short answer to the question of will AI replace a programmer? It absolutely will not. I had to know what I was doing, how to do my setups, stuff like that, what to change, what I wanted to make better in the software. That being said, is AI software like Toolpath a good tool? In my eyes, it's great for a tool shop, or for a job shop doing random parts or a lot of variety of parts. I think it'd be huge. Not only does it help some inexperienced programmers, show them different ways of doing stuff, it also can save time for the veteran programmers. Instead of going through, spending an hour programming a part, you might be able to cut that down to half hour or 45 minutes, or maybe it's even like a 10 or 15 minute part now. All of it's going to vary, and along the line, it's just going to get better and better. I don't think it'll ever replace programmers. It just will make their job easier. You got to look at it like anything. When robotics first started coming into manufacturing and stuff like that, people would always say, "Oh, they're taking our jobs."
Took our jobs! Yeah! They took our jobs!
Oh, I'm not going to have a job now because there's a robot here. You got to look at it completely different, because this isn't going to take your job. If anything, it'll just make your job easier. There's so much stuff that we, programmers, shop owners, stuff like that, waste our time on. Whether it's, programming a part, quoting a part, ordering tooling, stuff like that. If you can automate that, it just saves you time. Or, it might replace a role for somebody, but you can move that person up into a different role. They might become a manager. They might, do something else, like robotics in the manufacturing. Instead of sitting there welding parts all day long, you sit there and tend a robot, or fix a robot, or program a robot. It's just to make your job easier. So in my eyes, don't be scared of software like this, AI software in the workplace. I don't believe it's going to replace you. Just try to use it to benefit yourself or benefit your business. like myself, I'm a one-man show, and anything I can do to make my job easier, the better. So that's the way I look at it. Um, can AI make good parts? I 100% believe it can. Um, it's all on the user input. So get your tool library set up, get your work holding set up, and let us do its thing. They're constantly revising it. If you have it already in Fusion and stuff like that, you'll see they do updates quite often, and constantly adding to it. The crew over there at Toolpath are great. I've never had any problems with them whatsoever, and they've always been helpful. Paul's my main contact that I deal with there, and he's helped me in Fusion stuff and questions like that, and super helpful. So anybody that's looking for something like that, just check them out and see. I think they have a reduced cost plan right now for trying them out for like 30 days or something, like, or 90 days or something like that. For such a minimal fee, you buy buy an end mill for what they are charging you for like 3 months worth of their software for trying it out, and just try it, see if you like it. If you don't have to commit to anything, and if you do like it, you think it's a benefit, try it out for a year or whatever, and just see if it helps your business. For me, it's super helpful. Like I said, anytime I can I can use this, or any kind of software I can use to save me time, and it is huge, because I never have enough time, it seems like. And if I save 30 minutes programming a part, that's 30 minutes I gain doing something else. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I was able to make a good part with my input. My mill, that's huge on it too. Having a good, accurate mill. I got pretty much a brand new DN Solutions SVM 4100. Stuff like that. That's huge. You don't have to play with your software to try to adjust for loose ways or anything like that, or you have a bad spindle and you have run out and stuff like that. But yeah, stuff like that is definitely huge for making good parts. So thanks for watching. I know it came out to be a long video, but I wanted to try to show you everything I could on this. If you like it, subscribe, like the video, and ask questions. I will keep making videos as long as I can. Help somebody out, great. But that's all for now. Thanks, everyone.